Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Thrive Aid Academic Support Platform. Today, we're going to be looking at the concept of square roots and cube roots. And particularly, we're going to focus on the square of a number, understanding what the square of a number is, and understanding what the cube of a number is. So those are the two concepts that we're going to look at today, and we shall build upon these concepts in the next videos that we'll be posting. So these are the concepts that we'll be using to actually look at other more advanced concepts. So I hope you do enjoy the class. So let's get started. The square of a number. What is the square of a number? So the square of a number is simply the number. The square of a number is the product you get when you multiply a number by itself. So it's the answer you will get when you multiply a number by itself. So for instance, if we have a 2, the square of 2 is simply the answer we'll get when we multiply 2 by itself. And 2 by 2 gives us 4. So this means that 4 is the square of 2. And if we have another number, let's try out with 3. If we have 3, the square of 3 is simply the answer you get when you multiply 3 by itself. And 3 times 3 gives us 9. So 9 is the square of 3. So you describe this concept of the square of a number in such a way. So for example, the 2 that we had, we simply write 2 and the superscript 2. So this right here is what describes the square of 2. And this can be, this is what illustrates the square of 2. And this can be described as 2 to the power 2. You could also say 2 squared. So you could say 2 squared. Also say 2 to the second power. So this could also be described as 2 to the second power. So this is how you describe this particular illustration of 2 squared. So any of the three can do, any of the three, you can use any of the 3 statements to describe this particular scenario right here. Let us move on to the cube of a number. What is the cube of a number? So the cube of a number is simply the product you get when you multiply a number by itself and then multiply that product by the original number. In other words, the cube of a number is simply the number you get when you multiply a number by itself 3 times. I'll take again the example of 2. So for instance, if you have 2 and you want to find the cube of 2, so you just multiply 2 by 2, which gives us 4. This product of 2 by 2, you again multiply it by the original number, which is 2, and this gives us 8. In other ways, you can say 2 by 2 by 2, 2 by 2, 4, and by 2, that gives us 8. So 8 is the cube of 2 in this case. This can be used for the scenario of 3 as well. So let's try 3. So 3 cubed is simply the answer you get when you multiply 3 by itself 3 times. And 3 times 3, you get 9. 9 times 3, you get 27. So 27 is the cube of 3. So those are the particular examples. You can describe the cube of a number in this way. So for instance, the 2 that we had, we can describe the cube, we can illustrate the cube of 2 as 2 with a superscript 3. And this can be described as 2 cubed. So you could say 2 cubed. You could also say 2 to the power 3 to the power 3. You could also say 2 to the third power, just like so 2 to the third power, just like we described the square numbers as well. So this is how you could describe this particular scenario here. Let's look at some examples. So with other numbers, let's experiment with other numbers. So let us find the square of the following numbers. That's the question. Find the square of the following numbers. So let's try to find the square of 4, and we'll illustrate this as 4 squared. We should also find the square of 5. So 5 squared and 6 squared. Give it a go. I'll wait a minute for you to find those answers, and then we'll run through the examples. Okay, so let's look at the answers to the questions. I hope you did get them correct. If you didn't, it's still an opportunity for you to understand the concept further. So to find the square of 4, we simply multiply 4 by itself. And 4 times 4, we will get 16. This is simply 16. And this means that the square of 4 is 16. And we get 16 by multiplying 4 by itself 2 times. Let's look at 5. We also had 5 squared. What is the answer to 5 squared? The answer to 5 squared is simply obtained by multiplying 5 by itself. 5 times 5 gives us 25, and 25 is the square number of 5. So that's how you get the square of 5. Let us look at what was the last example, 6 squared. To find the square of 6, we simply multiply 6 by itself. And 6 times 6 gives us 36. So 36 is the square of 6. Let us also look at some examples under the cube of a number. Let's find the cube of similar numbers. So let's try 4 cubed, 5 cubed, and 6 cubed. Let's try and see what that gives us. I'll give it a minute so that you can calculate, and then we'll come and run through the answers so that you can verify if your answers are correct. Okay, so let's run through these answers. So the first question, 4 cubed, we simply obtain the answer by multiplying 4 times 4 times 4. So 4 times 4, we get 16. Times another 4, we get 64. So you'll notice that for the cube, they give slightly bigger numbers, but well, it's also dependent on the question that you have been given. So take your time and ensure that you are multiplying correctly so that you don't miss the correct answers. The next question we had was 5 cubed. And 5 cubed, we simply multiply 5 3 times. So to get 5 cubed, we multiply 5 times 5 times 5. 5 times 5 gives us 25, and 25 times 5 gives us 125. So that is the cube of 5. That's how you get the cube of 5. You simply multiply 5 by itself 3 times, and 125 is the cube of 5. Let's try the last example that we had. So we had 6 cubed. To find the cube of 6, we simply multiply 6 by itself 3 times. So 6 times 6 times 6. 6 times 6, we get 36. And 36 times 6, we will get, so 36 times 6, we will get 216. And that is the cube of 6. So those are the two concepts that I wanted us to look at today. I hope you have learned and understood the two concepts, because we shall use them to build upon the concept of square roots and cube roots. Until next time, bye-bye. Make sure you look out for the next videos that we will come building upon this topic. See you next time.